when you're talking to these clients and any potential clients that come into your world, you want to be pitching what we call rate insurance. So, number one, what is rate insurance? What it is that we are monitoring between now and close if rates drop with your existing lender, or if rates come up, like a promotion comes up with a different lender who's a better fit for you, we're going to move you over there. The whole idea is just to keep the client knowing that you're doing the best for them from the moment they agree to work with you up until closing date. So they're not tempted to go pop in and meet with their RBC representative or sit on Rate Hub and try to click through a bunch of things there. You're just keeping them in your world because they know that you're looking out for their best interests.
Yeah, and there's a different way to do rate insurance as well. Like I know some people they do the variable rate monitoring. You can pitch that as your rate insurance, but we like us specifically, we use rate insurance as like you mentioned, like we're monitoring up until closing and even past closing too. But like specifically for this strategy for a rate declining market, this is going to be super effective and we're doing it right now. We're seeing really good results, stickier clients. We're saving money for clients, which they absolutely love. And it's a really good way to get Google reviews too, which we'll dive into the topic there. But the rate insurance, I always like to pitch that in the discovery call up front. So I explain what it is very briefly, and just to make that stickier, so they're already not thinking about going to the bank or wherever else they're shopping. They know we do some other things differently on our end, and I'm also really going in depth on the rate insurance with our strategy videos. So for us, we don't do strategy calls. Like I know the standard for brokers and loan officers is to do that strategy call after the pre-approval or slightly sorry right before the pre-approval. But what we do is when we send the pre-approval email, we'll have that video breakdown of the budget with the certain strategy and all of that good stuff. And once they get an accepted offer, like if they're purchasing, then what we're going to do is we're going to send that rate strategy confirmation email, and in there we're going to have that video breakdown of the different options for them in terms of like what lender they want to go with. We compare it all on the Excel spreadsheet and everything. But what we also do is we explain the rate insurance in there as well in more depth because we want to hit them either two or three times through the process to remind them of that, to know that we have their back and they don't need to shop anywhere else.
Exactly. And another big piece this is a templated email that we send out when we do actually perform this service. It's one thing to talk about it, but if you're not
Actually,
actually monitoring and implementing it, you're just blowing smoke up their arse. So what we do is if we say, okay, Scotia dropped their rates, every one of our Scotia clients, we just send our BDM an email and just say, hey, can you lower all their rates? Everyone's happy. We don't just leave it as, hey, we got you a lower rate. We send them a templated email that says, hey, Tom, just wanted to let you know, instead of 5.69, you're now paying 5.39, and this over the term of your mortgage is going to save you X. It outlines how much they're saving, and then it also is another opportunity, if they haven't already given us a review, for us to ask for a Google review, or also another ask, and this is one that I've been preferring to do lately. Is there anyone else in your network who's shopping right now whose lender isn't looking out for their needs like we are, like this?
you can really go far with this too. And we've been doing that. We have two different call to actions. Mine, I like to get those Google reviews because I find it super easy to get them at that point. Like, who doesn't like seeing an email coming in saying, hey, your rate has dropped. You've saved 6K over your term and your monthly payment has gone $200 lower. Like, everyone loves that. When you see the subject line, your rate has dropped. I think that's what I have for my subject line. Fuck, it kills. And
Yeah,
with that, like take it one step further. You can give your client a text after you send that email or a call. Be like, hey, I've got a surprise for you. Go check out your email. Or reach out to your referral partner. Hey, just to let you know, I'm saving your client X amount of dollars because of our rate insurance. They might ask what it is. They might love it. They might want to post on social. So you could really take this the full mile.
for sure. And that social piece you add there is another thing that we do. And we're going to be doing a lot more of it because we realize that a lot of the wins we've been doing, we haven't always shared them on social media. So we're going to bring these wins to social media and be, hey, this is how we saved a client $3,000. They didn't have to do anything, they didn't even have to sign an additional document. We just kept an eye out for a better opportunity for them longer than any other player in their network would. And it's like, okay, what's the differentiator? This guy's got my back all the way through.
Yeah, and just keep in mind when you're doing this too, know your lenders because some lenders, so we're talking specifically in Canada, like some of them, they'll only allow you to do one rate drop before closing. So you want to make sure you're either sending your business to lenders that allow you to do the unlimited drops, or if you are with a lender that does that one, you got to strategize on this, put it in your calendar, put it in notes, and maybe revisit it 2 weeks prior to closing, and that's when you send out that rate request because if you do it too early, you're actually costing your client more money doing it that way. And I did that early in my career. Like I didn't know that. And I was sending out the rate requests like as soon as the first rate dropped. And I'm like, I thought it was a win. It's like, oh, this is awesome. And then I kept seeing the rates go further down. I'm like, fuck, I just miss on a huge opportunity. But yeah, just make sure you do that.
I've done the same thing before, and actually, one thing to note here is if you've done this and you're like, oh crap, that's me, I've done it, and you have a closing that's still pushing, I would call that BDM and that underwriter, explain that you didn't know there was only one thing, and ask for like a forgiveness there. Quite often they will give it, and in my case, I just apologized and said, hey, I didn't realize this was the way things were done, and they gave me that flexibility. The other
Good.
piece there is to say to the BDM, hey, here's the list of clients I have with you that I'm hypothetically going to want to do this for. Can you let me know if rates are potentially moving in the other direction so that I can then lock that option in there? And I had one lender who she just monitored it for me. So then when rates were coming back up a bit, like the bottom was there, she shot me a quick note and she said, send in all your rate requests now. And it
Sweet.
was
That's
perfect.
awesome.
Yeah. And that's just leveraging relationships. You're going to build these relationships and connect more with your lenders the more deals you do. But it doesn't hurt to ask this if even if you're early in the process.